We recently took our kids to Disneyland. We had this great opportunity to go down for the day and stay with a friend, and it was so fun. And we went on a couple rides that were a little scary for the kids, one of which being Pirates of the Caribbean. Maybe if you've been to Disneyland, you've been on it. And so my boys at this point of recording this are 4 and 2. And so Pirates of the Caribbean doesn't have a height limit. You sit together in this little boat and you go through. And I knew it was going to be dark. We had already been on some dark rides. If you haven't been to Disneyland in a while, I completely forgot how dark some of the little kid rides are, like even Snow White and Alice in Wonderland. And so we'd been through a couple dark rides so far, and we get on Pirates of the Caribbean, and the 2-year-old especially is like, this is scary. And, you know, judge me as a parent if you want, but it made me think about how we get to choose what we focus on. Because if you've been on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, you may know that there are pirates and there are cannon shooting and there's treasure. And there are things that are not necessarily like super fun and friendly for little kids. But there are also things that we chose to focus on and point out for our kids. So as we're going through, we're looking at the doggies and the pig and the animals, and we're pointing out the treasure and the gold, and look at that and that light. And we had the opportunity for them to both get excited by the end of the ride and look at different things and say, oh, look, there's another doggy. Oh, look, there's another pig and another animal. And so, you know, should they have been on the ride? That's not really the point of the conversation. They are fine. Everything's fine. But it reminded me that we are totally in control of what we focus on. And whether it's Pirates of the Caribbean and you're choosing to focus on the scary parts of the ride, or you're choosing to focus on the cute little animals and the gold and the fun parts of it, you are in control of what you focus on and where you put that energy and how you perceive the information that is given to you. So at any point of any time, I just want to remind you that you are in control, and that even if you're sitting in a boat that your parents made you go on this ride and you're like, this is scary, you and I and the kids and everyone has the ability and the choice to make it a fun experience. To look at this and say, okay, wow, that's cool. I like that. There, I'm finding something good in the situation. Now, it doesn't mean that when something happens and you experience something that you had to look for positives in, that you have to jump out and run back in and get back in line. No, but you can get off the ride and say, yeah, that was cool. I liked that part. And this is applicable into your life to say, okay, at what point are you remembering that you're the captain? At what point are you remembering that you get to control how you receive, how you change whatever has happened to you, whatever you're experiencing, however someone communicates with you? It doesn't mean you jump back in line to experience it again, but what are you going to do when you're there? When you're sitting in the ride and you can't get off, are you focusing on the scary parts, or are you focusing on the animals? Are you focusing on the treasure and the fun and the water and looking up at the sky and how cool it looks? Or are you looking at the creepy looking pirate and going, I don't like this? Now, it doesn't mean to not acknowledge your feelings, separate from even parenting, but we talk about acknowledging, hey, you were scared. That didn't feel good. You should do that as an adult too. You should acknowledge how you're feeling. It doesn't mean just bury it down and just do whatever comes at you. But when you're there and you're in the ride, what are you going to do to get the best out of that experience and evaluate why you maybe do or don't want to go on the ride again? And I think that this is so important in just like small day-to-day things, right? So I was thinking about, there was a kids parade that was going on in my town recently, and we chose not to go for various reasons. And even in that situation, I said, okay, here are the reasons why I would go. Here are the reasons why I wouldn't go. And I'm using that opportunity to evaluate what is the right decision for me. Now, you, as an adult, get to decide, is it the right decision for me to pursue this goal? Is it the right decision for me to take these steps in my home, in my family, in my business, in my job? Now, you then may get in that ride, if you will, and be like, whoops, yep, didn't like this one. I want to do something different next time, which is totally fair. As you get on that ride for your job or your home or your business or whatever it is, and you decide, okay, yeah, I saw the animals, but I also saw the pirates, and this is what I want to do differently next time. I don't want to get back on this ride. I want to go on to a different ride that I find more fun. Then you can do that. But be proud of yourself for trying. Be proud of yourself for focusing on the animals instead of the pirates. Be proud of yourself for figuring out what is for you. You also might get on and be like, this is my favorite ride I've ever been on, and I would have never known if I didn't get on it, right? So I want you to take some time today to think about, what is the ride that you're currently on that feels a little bit like you're focusing on the pirates instead of the animals? And are you going to continue to focus on the pirates and not love the ride? Or are you going to focus on the animals? And then if you're not going to get back on the ride again, how are you going to get off? And what ride are you going to go to next? Go pick which ride you're going to go on to next. Don't just think about the ride you didn't like. Think about which one you're going to go on and go pick it, right? So often we have an experience or something that happens to us and we just keep talking about the pirates. Now, for the parents listening, if we had got off that ride and my kids were like, the pirates were scary all day long, then that would not be a win, right? So my job as a parent is to help redirect them and make sure that they go find something else that they talk about, something else that they love. So guess what? All we can talk about now is Nemo's submarine and Buzz Astro Blasters instead of Pirates of the Caribbean. They don't even remember the Pirates ride. But if I say, hey, do you remember the little animals on the Pirates ride? They'll be like, yeah, instead of that ride was scary. And now it doesn't mean that I win all the time as a parent. It doesn't mean that I always say the right thing, but I give myself the opportunity to keep trying. And I have to remember that for myself as an individual just as much as you do. So think about maybe a time you've done this as a parent. I know you've done it. I know you've redirected. You've turned a memory into a positive one. So how are you going to do it for yourself? How are you going to pick which ride you're getting on next? And how are you going to make this ride not just a negative memory? Something that you look back and say, yeah, oh yeah, those pirates were a little scary, but those animals were really cute. That was fun. But yeah, we're not going to go back on that ride again. Think about that for yourself. Okay? Sending you so much love. Keep getting after those goals. And I want to know, what ride are you going on next? Now, if you're literally going to Disneyland and you want to tell me that too, you can send me a message on Instagram. I would love to know. But go ahead and, if it's in your review for this podcast, or send me a message on Instagram or post it in the Momma Has Goals app. I would love to know, what is it that you're focusing on right now? And where are you going? What is that ride that you're going on next? Because I want to support you. And maybe I'm sitting with you and just trusting that it's going to be a good ride. Or maybe I'm just standing at the end to hear how it was. But let me know. I want to know. Sending you so much love, Mama.